Good day, everyone, and welcome to another episode of This Week in Community. My name's Simon Tomes. I'm joined by Rosie Sherry. We are your co-hosts for today. It's very exciting. It's also very hot to be here today. But yeah, thank you to everyone who's tuning in today, joining us live in the chat. It's great to see you. And also for those following along, watching this back on YouTube. So what is This Week in Community? So for those who are new to this, it's a way for community people to gather every week. So we do our best to gather every Wednesday at 4 p.m. UK time. And we have a chat for up to an hour. We talk about your week in community. You can tell us what you've been up to, what's been happening, some of the things that you've read or watched and got excited about. And yeah, so there's opportunity to join the stage a little bit later, should you wish to, or please do get stuck in the chat. We can often read out stuff that you're sharing in the chat and bring that into the conversation. Rosie Sherry, how has your week in community been?
Hot, hot, hot.
Yes, indeed. Both based in the UK, and temperature is, whew, that is full
Very
on.
hot. Yeah. Got my curtains closed today. And we had a breeze yesterday, but that's now gone. So yeah, it is what it is.
Within the Motiverse community, that you put out a great question, like how hot is your room right now, or words to that effect, which I thought was brilliant. Everyone's sharing their temperatures. I think mine's what's it gone up to? I think it was 31 degrees centigrade earlier on. Well, it's jumped to still 31. I thought it had gone to 32, but there we go.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what happened.
But also, it's hot, which is annoying. But talking about what we've done this week in community, last week we hosted an event, and this week I'm just so grateful that we hosted the event last week and not this week, because literally, like schools are being shut, and the advice is not to travel if you don't have to, all of that kind of stuff. So if we think about how the weather can impact our work, it's real, right? And I hold on to the positivities despite the hotness at the moment. So yeah, it's important to remember that and stay positive. Judy asks in the chat, she says, can I ask, do you all have air conditioners? It's kind of standard in most American homes, but maybe that's not the case there. Pretty much it's not the case here. Yeah, I mean, typically we might get 1 or 2 really hot days a year, kind of, but that's on the rise. And I know Deanna has one in her bedroom.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it's not normal. It's not the standard. But
I'm sure it's going to trend upwards. These air conditioners units, or becoming an air condition engineer. In a world of AI, maybe that's a hot job to get into. A hot pun intended. But yeah, it's kind of manual labor to get stuck in that AI will unlikely replace, perhaps. Installing air conditioning units and all of that stuff. But I think it's only on the rise, unfortunately, particularly this part of the world, kind of Western Europe. But yeah, it is a fascinating, stuff that's completely out of our control, and how we react to it as community professionals. I always find that interesting. The most extreme example, I guess, is COVID, right? So, at the time, I think Ministry of Testing, as it was called then, was a complete change. I think, am I right in thinking, Rosie, I wasn't part of the company then, but was it, there were 5 or 6 major conferences ready to go, or like a high number of conferences ready to go that had to be instantly, like in-person conferences that had to be instantly shut down, and the business model had to change and all that stuff. as a member, it was like, oh, because I was a member of the community before I became an employee. And I remember thinking like, oh my goodness, that changes a lot. Like what happens now kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, in 2019, I think we hosted 9 conferences.
Wow, it was right.
Um,
Yeah.
so I can't remember off the top of my head how many were scheduled for that year, but it was probably at least 6 or 7.
Mhm. Yep.
Sorry. Stuck that one in there. Um,
Skills.
sorry.
It's does these things.
Um, but yeah, complete change needing to, the admin required to, behind the scenes to cancel stuff, to figure out what do we do? Do we refund? Do we say, "Actually, no, we don't refund"? Do we, make the tickets valid for another year? It
Mm,
was
mm,
tough, right?
yeah.
And and COVID was a big example, but I'm also thinking about it now and thinking that actually AI is just as tough of a change,
Yeah.
or AI combined with like a downturn in the market is just as much change required. So COVID kind of hit us out the blue and was obviously devastating
Mm,
in many ways. Um, but it also brought a boom in the online space, like
yeah.
one that we've never seen before. And then um, people believing that that will just keep continuing, but it didn't, right? And people have since gone back to certain in-person things, or obviously not the COVID restrictions like they used to be. Um, but it's still tough, and like the change I think is constant. Um, and um, it, we blame AI or we say AI, but I don't think that's the whole case. But um, yeah, I guess like the boom of COVID, everyone online, and then the it's almost like the opposite right now. Is like it's hard to get people online um,
Mm,
consistently or meaningfully, um, and there's almost perhaps the leftovers from the COVID era. Dead
mm,
community spaces, um, strategies needing to change constantly, and we're definitely like re-evaluating constantly um, within the metaverse. Is like what's actually useful
mm,
and what do people actually need. Um, but yeah, I mean, in respects to AI, it's just like all the bots and spam. That's definitely on the increase. I'm definitely questioning many aspects around communities. Like, do we actually want to do these things that have previously existed? So in that sense, it's not far off the challenges of COVID, just different challenges, but I think that they're still like real challenges of like
mm.
the world is moving so fast. What do we do? Um,
Yeah.
but no one's talking about it really. I don't think. I
Mm.
don't know if people are, but um, yeah, I don't know. It's constant change.
Well, we're here to talk about it, right? This is good. This is the a good reason for us to gather and explore this. And you kind of think, to kind of counter the world of AI slop and just easy access to everything, but the quality, just isn't good enough, or there's no real human to human connection, and we should really value that. I think of one example actually. You and I were chatting earlier this week. We were talking about our conference called MotoCon. And it was like we've always wanted to continue to better the whole like in-person experience and online experience, and kind of not like when I say that, I don't mean, oh, let's broadcast our conference online. Not that, but more for people who are participating during the day. How can they also connect that to their online existence within our community? And we had that idea, or you had that idea around um, getting people to post. their moments. So a moment in the metaverse is like, think of it like a blog post. We call them moments. Just encouraging people to write and share things, and then people will get rewarded for that. They could build up a certain amount and then collect different types of swag during the event, which would be cool. But it's joining up, like giving people an incentive to experience the online part of the community where they might not be too familiar with it, or it might be overwhelming. People who blog, it's effort, right? And also we then, well, the conversation went to when people get tagged in these moments, other people are doing the work for other people, and that's when it becomes really special. So these people can build up their profile without doing, like, it's not, they're not doing any work. They're inspiring someone to tag them in it. Maybe it's a photo, maybe it's something that person wrote elsewhere or said or did. And it's like that kind of things happen in person, but they can also connect it to what's going on in their online existence. And I think there's something cool about that when that happens, just making sure it's all joined up. Like we always talk about, like, systems thinking, and making sure if we're doing something over here, does it pass the R test? Like, does it make us feel good? Like, oh, that feels right. And does it also connect to all the other things that we're trying to join up? So there's like consistency, familiarity. People get, if they do something over here, it has a positive impact over there. All of that stuff. So I think that's a small example, but that's got nothing to do with AI. It's really about encouraging people to have human to human collaboration, to then write about it, to express themselves, to share about it. So that was, I thought that was a cool one that we were discussing this week.
Yeah, and I guess in a sense, like COVID forced us to change. We didn't have a choice. And I guess if we think about the similarities with AI, I think AI has forced us to change. And that's what we're trying to figure out is like, AI content, people in forums, even articles submitting a lot of AI stuff, and AI just generally in forums and spam, and it's getting harder and harder to spot. And it used to be easy to spot, and it generally used to be like marketing spam for us, at least. But now it's on the up. It's it's just like, just leave us alone, man. But like, the stuff comes in, and we're like fighting it, and then I'm like questioning, like, this is my one life I have to live. Do I really want to live it fighting spam? And actually, no, I don't. But it's, I've been using the boiling frog analogy recently. I did a short little talk at MOT London about it, but it's kind of this thing of like, it's more of an urban myth. It's not actually true, but people talk about it like it's true.
Yeah, it's a good
And
one.
yeah, so apparently, if you put a frog in a pot of water and you slowly boil it, they don't jump out; they just die. They end up dying. It sounds like a true
frog.
story, but yeah, it's not actually true. But it's the kind of stuff that happens in organizations where you get so used to your surroundings that the organization ends up kind of not necessarily dying, but not necessarily seeing the damage that it's creating, or how it should be different because you're so stuck in that moment and you can't see out of it. And yeah, I forget where I'm going with this, but yeah, just yeah. So there's that analogy of like, like in the community world, I feel like we're all stuck in that thing of this is how we've done things. We have to continue to do them.
Yes.
And then I'm doing it. I'm like, I don't want to do that anymore. I hate it. It's stupid. It's like, why should I be fighting spam, or why should I feel pressured to do everything for free, when members are demanding to be paid for their work, yet for some reason we're supposed to serve members for free because that's the way it's always been done, or there's
Mm.
free content on the internet, or all the big tech companies have stolen the content everywhere and now have a business model based on that, and they can do things for free. So now we're competing with them, and there's all these like questions like, what are we supposed to do now, right? And that's the big change. It's like um, and on the face of it, it's like under the iceberg, right? It's the uh, you don't see all the things that we have to change as a result of things that we need to do, because what worked during COVID is not working now. What worked pre-COVID is not working now, and then we all of a sudden have to not reevaluate just what we're doing. We also have to reevaluate our business models,
Mm.
and I feel like that's what we've been doing the past 2.5 years. Um,
Yeah.
is just bit by bit, just like being like, "Oh, holy shit, this is we gotta change everything." And like the overwhelming feeling of like, how are we gonna do that?
Mm.
Um, and then we change, and then people don't understand why we're changing, and we try to communicate, but even then, it's people, at least some people don't understand. Um, and just like change is hard.
Yeah.
I guess with an existing organization, there's so many things behind the scene. Um, but yeah, I think that's it's not unique to community. I think everyone is being forced to change. Um, but I guess like I'm get we're getting out. We're definitely getting better at um, I guess at creating that change. I think we are. Um, and whatever happens, happens. At least I keep saying at least we've tried, right? And for me, there's no other choice. It's like we have to change.
Yeah.
Um, like I wouldn't be able to live with doing what you were doing before, because it just simply wouldn't work.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, it means we do some things that look a bit different and people don't understand. But
And that's, yeah, it's like, as you say, you only get one shot. So where do we want to be spending our efforts? Like what is important, what really matters, and also what is where as community professionals, when we have our vision for a community and where we think it could go and all of that stuff, that most community members won't have that insight. And that's not a criticism of those members. It's just the reality. They're not living it and breathing it, and they've got other things going on in their life. Whereas for folks like you and I, we're living and breathing it. And it's like, we should be able to make bold changes and choices. I think the tricky thing is around, there's maybe a couple of parts to it. Where am I going with this one? I'm trying to think which one to go with first. I think when it comes to change, I think, like in general, and I'm gonna pin social media on this one because I like to do that. But social media is so fast. Swipe, swipe, swipe. Quick, quick, quick. Something's over in 30 seconds, and we're supposed to consume something and learn something and felt inspired, angry, upset, motivated, all the emotions, right? And the algorithms are feeding us that stuff. So I think for communities that need to go at a slower pace, and doesn't mean like slow where nothing happens, it can be a bit of a disconnect. Like people might be expecting things fast, whereas I think it makes sense to go at a pace, a good cadence that that people can keep up. But they're also like have this, why don't things happen now? Or the world is moving fast. Why aren't you moving fast? I need answers now. Give me answers now. There's a real disconnect between the pace of change within communities and wanting to change and everything else that's going on outside in the world. And I haven't quite articulated it well enough, but there's like a change pace disconnect. I don't know really what it is, but there's something there I think has an influence on that.
I think also it's like what is good, and like people think like social media is good because they're the frog within social media.
Yes, that's
They're
it.
like
That's it.
it's good because um you can post stuff and get likes and occasionally go viral or something like that. Or there are good aspects, like, it's great for LinkedIn, like messaging people. If they don't answer their emails, you can generally get them on
Yeah.
LinkedIn.
Yeah.
So there's like definitely like, positives, but generally speaking, the users are the frogs. Sorry, and they're boiling, and they don't realize how bad it is
Mm,
because that's all they're used to, right? That's what they're used to. So they don't know any different. They don't know what it could be because that's just what they're used to, and there's nothing else, right? Um, and it's stuff like LinkedIn and posts that show up 3 weeks later. It's just like that's such a classic example
yeah.
of how social media does not serve us. The algorithms don't serve us.
Mm,
It's a nightmare to share or search for anything that you've written in the past. It's literally you put stuff in, and then for you to retrieve it later, it's like, it's really hard. It's not easy.
yeah.
Um, and I just like remember the Twitter days where you could search on a hashtag and you would be able to see all the past posts quite easily.
Mm,
Try doing that on LinkedIn, and it's just like, no, it's not. It's not great.
yeah.
Um, but 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 those social type spaces, they give you that expectation of now, now, now. Like,
Yep.
you're achieving something,
Yeah.
but on the face of it, you're not really, right?
Yeah. I remember actually when we started shifting the Motiverse or Ministry of Testing, because we build our own platform, and we have done pretty much from the start. I guess before the platform there was Software Testing Club, which was on Discourse. Is that right? And then not on Discourse. No.
No, that was a Ning, which is still
Oh
around.
yes, 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 yes.
I
Oh wow. Oh
I don't
crikey.
understand why it's still around, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's still around.
Niche, proper niche. I like it. um, but coming back to a bit closer to the future, I remember referring to some community members like, "Oh, just think of like ministry testing. Like we're just building our own social network now. You don't need to be on LinkedIn or Twitter or X or whatever." And I actually now balk at that comment. We're not building a social network at all. Like we're building a different type of space for people to gather and to do things. Everything's much more joined up. There's no devious algorithm. Everything's interconnected. It's honest and real, and there's humans behind it, kind of pushing our members up front and celebrating them. So there's nothing like a social network. So I kind of cringe a little bit when I think I would use that term in the past, but it kind of shows how we've evolved in our thinking. And maybe it was like I was trying to describe something familiar. Like we keep coming back to this, like if we're changing our product, we want to make things familiar. So, you know, uh, that because that helps, right? But we don't just want to recreate the kind of dark side of social media, and absolutely not. There's just no need for it. Um, so yeah, it's an interesting reflection.
Yeah, I love the familiar aspect, and got that from a conference talk I went to um, recently. What's it called again? It will come back to me. Um, but yeah, there was a talk about familiarity and how when you're trying to create change, it can be quite easy to just do something that's too different that people don't understand.
Mm,
Um, but if you kind of introduce parts that are familiar to people, um, then it kind of has a higher chance of kind of being adopted and people kind of understanding it.
mm,
And one of the examples that they gave was a Spotify playlist where originally it was just quite random songs played within the was it the weekly? What's it called? The weekly Discover Weekly, I think it is. So
Right.
like
Yeah.
it helps you discover new songs. And the example it gave was that it was actually a bug that was introduced that started adding 20% of the songs were ones that the user had already listened to, so it felt a bit familiar.
Mm.
Um, but still, there was enough newness to kind of like go with it, and it felt familiar but new. Um, so we're trying to adopt that with what we're doing. Is that yes, we're a bit like a social network. It's partly in hindsight we kind of use that analogy, but we're going deeper into that familiar aspect of things we're doing, and sometimes we do things that people don't understand, and then like more recently, like we have the ability to add links in the metaverse, for example, and we've called that part of the website the observatory. Like it's a place where you can add
Mm.
uh, links, but we call the links satellites. Um, and we've been doing that for the past few months, and we were just playing on a space type branding, and internally we enjoyed it and we understood it, but we felt like externally people weren't really getting it. Um, so we just changed it to links now because
Yeah.
that's more familiar, basically.
Yeah.
Um, so that starts to feel better. So we're doing that across the board. Like it's just become part of our daily conversations. Like, does this feel familiar enough,
Mm.
yet still aligned to the goals we want to achieve with creating a platform that feels like a good platform?
Yeah. Reminds me of Esther Darby's got that good book on change. Can't remember the exact title, but it's like a 7-part framework to managing change within an organization. And I think the first part is around like honoring what already exists. Like if someone goes into an organization, they're like, right, I'm here to solve all the problems. Like if they just suddenly just steamroll in and say, we're changing everything. It's like the Esther's argument is like respect the current situation because decisions have been made, whatever they are, to be what it is right now. And I think there's a bit of that we have to do. It's just kind of honoring the current zeitgeist, the current vibe, the current situation, and then slowly but surely moving it to a place where we are hypothesizing could be better. And that's the exciting thing. And it's like doing it in a balanced way. And that takes time. It really takes time, particularly when you're building your own platform. And yet, I think this is another point you made in your poor little boiled frog post on Rosie Land was that you know having your own platform can be helpful. It sets constraints. It does a lot for you. All of that stuff. Someone else has built it. You don't really have to worry about it. Updates will come in. Yeah, that level of constraint is it's just kind of standard, and it becomes very like too familiar. It's not a differentiator if I reflect on it. And that's where I think communities that will do well are building their own platform. And yes, it takes effort. Yes, it takes so much time. It really does, given budgets and team size and all of that stuff. Yeah, I think when people are building their own platform and they're just copying existing platforms, that's a mistake. Because that's easy. It's easy to go, oh, let's just do what this platform offers. We can certainly be inspired by that, but I think understanding context of the community, their goals, ambitions, all of that stuff is what really matters, and then aligning it with the vision of the people at the top of that company is what makes a difference.
Yeah, and I guess the familiar angle could be with people as well. Like
Yeah,
you want some familiar people, but not all.
yeah,
If it becomes too samey all the time, then it's a bit like a broken record.
yeah,
Um, And I think a lot of spaces are actually like that. A lot of conferences are like that, where it feels like there's often we talk about diversity of conferences, but actually there's diversity over years of the range of speakers.
Yeah.
And so many conferences just keep inviting the same people time and time again.
Yeah.
Um, so, and perhaps like that's something that we need to keep an eye on a bit. I hadn't really thought of it in that sense, as like we've got a ton of new voices coming in,
Mm.
but there are a ton of new voices. There
Yeah.
are less and less familiar voices.
Yeah.
So perhaps that takes extra effort for people to make sense of who these people are and what they're good at, and
Yeah.
what they're known for, what they're experts at, all of that kind of thing is like, um, I guess ensuring, perhaps there's that 20% ratio again.
Mm.
Maybe it is that 20% ratio of 20% of the people that we invite to speak or go to Moticon are familiar faces,
Yeah. Yeah.
and the rest are fresh, newer, or on the up. Maybe there's a mixture of
Yeah.
them, but that's a nice rule to have, I think.
I think so. I think so.
Yeah,
And I would say, speaking openly, we've been guilty of in the past, maybe, I don't know, 4 years ago, 3 years ago, maybe a bit further back, of just going to the same people. Like, and it was like either it was lazy or we just weren't thinking about let's go way wider. Let's work with people more that are new and really encourage. Like we have so doubled down on encouraging people who perhaps don't feel they have the confidence to participate. Like we've just gone for it, right? And we're seeing loads of new voices in the community. It's freaking awesome. Um, I do like that 20% reminder. It's a good one.
yeah,
The other part of familiarity, and I think this is what you and I have done, Rosie, is we are hosting more within our community where we hadn't in the past, where you've talked about it before, where it's like always behind the scene, don't want to be the front of house, want other people to shine. Yet, and you go in front of house, and I'm doing it a bit more. We get to encourage people to shine, and we're just there like facilitators. Like we're asking the questions, we're interviewing people, and I think that I'm hopeful builds familiarity for the community as well. To have the leaders within a community running stuff, it
yeah.
doesn't all have, that is high value activity. You don't outsource that, as far as I'm concerned. And while it may, we're both pretty humble people and we don't like that limelight thing and it's a little bit awkward, but it's like, it's like we're chatting now. It's fine. It's not
And
awkward.
here we
Here
are.
we
All
are.
right.
Yeah, exactly. Live right now and on YouTube. But, but it's a strange one. But it's okay. There's not. It is not arrogant to do this. Is actually facilitating people sharing their stuff like that. I think is a big skill of community professionals to be able to encourage people, ask them questions in a forum where they can express themselves, and that I think that builds familiarity. Like there are moments. I do have the odd moment where like flipping heck, it's not me replying to this again, or I'm banging on about this thing, and people are just going to be fed up of hearing what I've got to say about stuff. So there are those moments often, but I just think I just got to get over it. Just this is about amplifying our professional members and getting them active and up for it. We've got a role to play in that.
I think what I like about the two of us is that we're both very reluctant to do it, or have been. But we both egg each other on.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. I remember you saying to me about, so we have our other podcast is This Week in Quality. It used to be This Week in Testing, but before that, it was just a live event. We wouldn't record it. And I remember you saying to me, like, why don't you make a podcast? Why don't you record it? And I was like, what? Record it? Pressure. And it was like a real moment, but I got over that quite quickly. And it was like, yeah, of course we should record it. Like, why not? And then same with, switching video on. It's like, just do it. But yeah, we egg each other on.
Even like adding like images of ourselves on the videos or podcasts. That was a hurdle for both of us. You know,
Yeah,
if we're honest, it's like do we have to put our own face on it? This is about the community. It's not about us.
yeah,
But in the end, um, I guess in hindsight, honestly, I wish I had perhaps started this kind of stuff earlier.
mm,
Um,
yeah,
and um, Actually, I think it was Andy Claremont who was talking about like, you know, as community people, we need to facilitate and put the voice of the community first. Um, Hopefully, I'll meet him on Friday actually in
Oh,
Brighton,
cool,
which would
cool,
be
cool.
nice.
That's good.
Um, but My mind has like completely shifted literally in the past year on that idea, and I'm just like, that's what I've always done. Um, but now I'm like, no, we have to get stuck in with it. We have
Yeah,
perhaps the best way to lead is to become more visible,
yeah,
not for our sake, but for the sake of others. And perhaps if we, look at some of the best, you know, empathetic, great leaders in
yeah,
the world,
yeah, 100%.
they take on that burden.
Yeah,
It's a bit of a burden. It's a real burden at times of being that leader. They put themselves in danger sometimes.
mm,
They give their lives to a cause, but the ones who lead it with community at the heart, it's not for themselves, it's for the benefit of others. And I don't think many community people actually uh, do that, and I
mm,
think that's a problem. And
mm,
then the problem we have is that the people who do lead publicly often lead for the wrong purposes, or they don't have the community really at the heart of everything they're doing. So we end up with, I guess, like this creator type, audience type
mm.
situation where the person who owns it takes as much as they can or sells it on quickly, or it's just it most of the time it doesn't feel well or right. um and it's a problem, I guess. I think it's a problem. um
Yeah,
but yeah, the past year for me, and I think it's been similar for you, it's just like really stepping outside of my comfort zone,
yeah,
and just realizing, like, my realization is that, oh shit, I have to do this. I have to.
yeah, yeah,
This needs to be done.
yeah.
Like, like Into the Multiverse podcast we started. I'm like, we have to have a podcast. And it's like, who's gonna do it? And I'm like, oh shit, I have to do
It's
this.
me, yeah.
It's me. Oh shit. Literally it's just like, oh,
Yeah,
this feels uncomfortable. This doesn't feel like me. This doesn't feel like I can do it. But
yeah,
actually, um, in hindsight, I can, and we are,
yeah.
and we're 23,
It's
I think,
amazing.
episodes in.
It's amazing. And the thing is with it, like we touched on this last week, if I remember, it's such good community research to be right at the front. You know, every conversation with any member, no matter if it's a short interaction or a much longer form conversation, say on a podcast or type of video conversation, the research is great. It's of real benefit because as systems thinkers, we can join up the dots and think, okay, there's a connection there with what that person said 6 months ago, although that kind of there's a theme emerging that this is popular, but maybe no one's articulating it yet. So that can then spark a whole new thing, a whole new initiative. Um, so it's real research as well. Yes, of course it is for the benefit of our members. Yet for us as an organization, we learn so much and we can start joining the dots. So it's like, you know, if I wasn't talking to our members like literally every day, recording, maybe on average 2 or 3 what we call for insights. It's like, I guess, like a podcast, but not framed as a podcast, more just conversations that get played back to the community with a supporting article. There's 2 or 3 of them a week, and that's cool because I learn so much as a community professional. And then others see it and be like, "Oh, I could do that. Yeah, I could be a guest on that, and I got
Yeah.
some stuff to share." So it's like beyond the 2 people that record, it just sparks more people to think, "Oh, hang on, I could do that." And the approach I often take is just direct message people and say, "You'd be great on a call for insights. Here's what we've done so far. Um, what topic would you be interested in?" It's a great way to amplify your profile, to help you articulate your ideas. What do you reckon? Here's a link to a book. And then, you know, a good majority of people will say, yeah, sure. And they just need that invite. They just need an
Yeah.
invite. That's so important. They just need an invite. And that invite approach or mentality, like always be inviting, is so important because people might not think like, oh, why would someone contact me? Or oh, I can ask for that. Or it's not even on their radar. But receiving an invite is just, I think, a very cool thing for community members to receive. And it's not like, you know, if you do this, then you get that. Like, kind of, I get some invites for stuff, and it's like, hang on a minute, this doesn't feel like a helpful invite. This is one sided, you know. The invites I mean, and it's whereas I hope when our members receive an invite, it's like, oh, that's cool. Yeah, I'm up for that. And it's just, that's it. Like, it's just a way of amplifying that person. And we as, we feel good as community professionals doing that, giving people that voice, but also helping lead that conversation as well.
I agree. And I think the call for insight stuff has been amazing. And I don't think we quite expected it to become what it is, but
No, no, it didn't.
it's really become central to a lot of our work. And a couple of things I've noticed, which is just so cool, is uh, like new people who have never spoken before. They step up to the
Yeah.
challenge sometimes, at least, and then they do it, and then they realize, oh, I can do it, and then they come back for more, and they
Yeah,
book in
yeah.
a second,
It's
second,
repeat
yeah,
speakers is brilliant. Yeah, I
yeah,
think I need,
amazing.
I need to do a celebratory post soon, but I think we're at, it's gone over 40 now, I think.
Wow.
40 conversations. And that's not 40 unique people. Some have done 3, some have done 2, but still, it's a lot. And that we started in February this year. And the first one went out, was it February 3rd or something? So it's just like, yeah, it's just it's got a bit bigger than we anticipated, but it's a good thing, you know. It's a good thing. I love it. It's a real privilege to get to do it. It's
That's
always
all,
good.
that's about twice as many Into the Multiverse podcasts.
Ah, right, yeah, yeah.
It's funny, right?
Yeah,
It, you know, um, so in some sense, you're outputting twice as many conversations, which is interesting. Um, but then the other angle is that there's also been people who, like Ash Winters, one of the people I'm thinking about, who's experienced, like as a
yes,
speaker, a workshop person, an author.
yeah,
Um,
it's
he's
brilliant.
been through the rounds. He's helped create events as well. And like then he partakes in it, and he's like, now it's like his favorite format. He's kind of like done so many different other formats that now he doesn't want to spend a lot of time prepping stuff. He just wants to talk. And I think there's something interesting in that the fact that we just show up to talk, and um, there is no agenda. There is no perfect way of saying it. There is no slides to prepare.
Yeah,
All of that stuff kind of creates a sense of anxiety, but we can still show up and create value efficiently. Um, I love the efficiency angle. It's just so efficient. We're just like,
yeah,
sending out calendar links and booking stuff in, and
mm,
we show up. Sometimes you might have to cancel them because stuff happens, but
yeah,
we're just, it just happens, and it's just like just
yeah,
another part of our day. It's like, oh yes, we're just going to record this.
yeah, yeah.
Um,
It is. And the behind the scenes. So every time I go to record with someone, I say to them, look, we're aiming for 30 minutes. It doesn't matter if we go under. It doesn't matter if we go under, but let's go for 30 minutes. That feels like a good time to chat. We confirm the topic without going into much detail, literally super high level. They've already indicated it when they book the session. And I always say to the guest, look, if you say something and you're not happy with it, just say, can we stop the recording? Can I say that again? And I can edit it post production events, edit stuff, very straightforward. And no one has ever had to do that. The only time we've had to re-record when a connection dropped for someone, and then I was like, I think we're going to have to get that again because it dropped, and it was fine. I could do the edit, so it's quite seamless. But just giving people that, like, don't worry, like, yes, this is recorded, but if we screw up, whatever that means, or you say something, you're like, oops, I can't say that. It's, breaking confidentiality, or I didn't mean to say that, or I don't want to upset someone for saying that. No one's ever, we've never had to. It's all pretty much there. The only edits have been an interruption, or someone just stops and they freeze. And I say the words edit, 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 so I can look at the transcript and make sure that's my, like, timestamp for that thing. And that happens, not that often. And people just chat and they just go for it. And that's it. It's cool. Conversations, recorded conversations are the way forward. It's less pressure. It's real. It's just people express themselves, articulating their thoughts on the fly, like you and I have done in this conversation. It's been 46 minutes. I just realized the time. Yeah.
We can't go over an hour because of Wistia limitations and how big it is.
Yes.
Remember that. So
it's a good constraint.
But if we were to go back to, like, the idea of, like, how we have to change, like COVID and AI has forced us to change, and really it was AI that has pushed, or AI partially has pushed us towards this, where we're trying to figure things out because we're not enjoying certain work, or we're not seeing value in, for example, our forum, which doesn't mean that the conversations there aren't bad. It's just like it's not sparking joy, but we had nothing else to compare it to of creating higher value. But with forums comes, like, the spam stuff, the bot stuff, the work that it's only now that we're doing this conversational work that I have higher confidence in saying, actually, this is 10, 100 times more valuable than a forum.
Yeah.
But we've been forced into that, and now that we can see it, right? Or we've encouraged ourselves to go into that. We jumped out of the bucket or the pan. We're not the frog anymore, right? We jumped out, we escaped, and then we can now see things, and we're experimenting with things. But it was very hard to see that this was actually possible until we took that leap. Part of it is a leap in faith, but also part of it is actually we're trying to make decisions, good decisions, as we go, and we do them in small scale ways. But if you think of, like, a conversation that you might host, 30, 45 minutes, that's you wouldn't get that in a forum post.
No, not
You wouldn't get a fraction of it. You'd get, like, maybe 1 or 2% of the value, but literally from one conversation, there's so much insight there. There's potentially, like, 5 pieces of content that we could create from that.
Yeah.
And we're inspired every day, and we discover things every day. And yes, in theory, you can do that in forums, but in practice, it feels like too much hard work for everyone.
Yeah.
And so sometimes I debate whether I should thank AI for forcing us to change, but maybe that's pushing it too far. But yeah, it can't unsee it, right? Which is one of the things we're potentially going to touch upon. But it's like, now that we're doing it, we can't unsee it, and I can't go back to how I couldn't go back to a job that asked me to do things the old way. It's like now we see it, we're like, oh, this is it.
Yeah, it's exciting. If anyone in the audience, I know Rosie and I have chatted for a good amount of time, but if anyone who's joining us today would like to pop up on stage and say hi and share your reflections of what we've discussed so far, you can also tell us about your week in community, what you've been up to, what's been happening, what you've observed. Now's a good time to do that. Um, so yeah, do let us know. And a reminder that for those joining live, this will be available on our YouTube channel. So just look for at This Week in Community on YouTube. We try and ship these videos as soon as we possibly can. We also have a newsletter that you can find so you can be notified of future events. You can head to rosie.land/twic, or you can head to simontomes.com/twic. That's twic with a C, TWIC. Yeah, so sign up, and then we'd use that just to notify folks when the next This Week in Community is. But typically, right now, we're aiming for every Wednesday at 4 p.m. UK time. I think there might be some times where each of us are off and away, but we'll do our best. We'll work it out. No, it will work. It'll be good. Get some folks joining us and co-hosting, which we always enjoy.
Yeah, I just wanted to give a shout out to Mark Masters,
Oh, right.
which was a conference that I was struggling to remember the name of. Creator Day from you are the media. Creator Day.
Got it.
I'm yeah, my brain just melts sometimes. I can quite remember, but yeah, Creator Day. And full credit to that. And sometimes we can think conferences are, not valuable, but sometimes you just need one talk to get you inspired. And that talk about making things familiar was that talk, and now it's just come. Within the space of a few weeks, it's just become a big part of how we think and
Yeah.
how we build our product. Is it familiar enough? So yeah, sorry, Mark.
Good shout out. It's so good. Talking of good people, Judy Mosley has joined us backstage.
Oh,
Yeah,
awesome.
Judy. Let's get you up on stage. Get involved in the convo. Hooray! Judy, welcome.
Hello.
It's good to see you. How tell us about your week in community. What's been going on?
Oh, well, I've just been doing a lot of catch up. There's been a lot going on, but I'm making time for oh, kind of like kind of like all the things you want to do, but you just haven't had time to do. And I've moved some things aside so that way I can get those done. And it's like uh, the random things, like making sure, like I help with the Women in Testing newsletter and getting that queued up and oh, reaching out to the person that said they'd write this, last week and I forgot to ping them and they probably forgot to. So it's like, oh, we need to do that. um, oh, is Princess snoring? Is that bad?
No, it's
It's
great.
good. I love it.
So,
I love it.
so for our
She
listeners who might not be aware, Princess is a wonderful, wonderful dog, wonderful pet, and the snoring in the background is just
she
brilliant.
she is. She'll be my background music, I guess. But, um, but yeah, so just doing catch up and prioritizing the valuable things, but also the stupid. I'll just say the stupid things as well. So, uh, we have a really old address book. I mean, I think I bought it when we first got married, which was nearly 25 years ago, and then probably a decade ago, I bought a new address book to replace the old address book, and they have been together the whole time, and I've never transferred the addresses over, and I know that there are maybe like 4 addresses that are valid now, and today I'm just like, I'm gonna do it. That is
That's so satisfying.
I know.
That's so cool.
I'm gonna put this to bed and never think about it again. Like, it's gonna be so great. But yeah, so that I'd say that's been my week this week, is just let go of everything else, do the things that have been really bugging me, so that way I don't have to think about them ever again. Or at least until next month. Some things I will have to think about next month, but yeah, figuring out where my priorities are, and doing a lot of like self-reflection. Like, I'm reading this book called I think it's How to Design Your Life. I heard it's from people who worked at Apple, and they're designers, and I heard them on a podcast, and found the concept very intriguing. I've never been a designer other than designing test cases and automation. so just learning new things, it's been really good.
That's very cool. There's something very satisfying about, we refer to it as like, we have all these different inboxes within the Motiverse, like of tasks to get through. Like, if we, and there's just the good feeling of getting to that point where a particular inbox is down to 0, and we know it doesn't need our attention. And not that they're actual all inboxes, just the metaphor of a bucket of tasks building up over time for certain things. And just that, like, once it's off and out the way, it's like, it gives you that, it's like the R test. It's like, we got that done. And maybe, as you say, next month it might start filling up again, but so be it. But like, building those systems in place just to kind of simplify things and get on top of that stuff, I think makes all the difference. And yeah, with community, there's a lot of inboxes to juggle, but it's all good. Just knowing which ones need the most attention, and then building the systems around that. That's where it gets cool.
I like being reminded of the awe test, because I think I've been trying to operate from that more. Like, if I take this action, does it make me feel better or make me feel worse? And just that can recalibrate your life in ways that you don't quite expect. But yeah, it's a good, helpful guide.
I love the eye test. It's been transformational for us as a team, I think. Just like, just making decisions. Does it make us go, or ugh? But yeah, it's simple, right? It's so simple. And it aligns, I think, just with the simplicity and the desire just to be moving forward positively.
I see our timer is getting close to that 60 minutes. Judy, it's been lovely to catch up with you today. Thanks for being part of This Week in Community. Awesome person.
Of course. And thanks for putting up with Princess's snoring.
Love Princess's snoring. The best. The best. But yeah, folks, please do keep coming back to This Week in Community. We're here for the chats. We're here to kind of explore all the topics and see what's possible. Rosie, before we sign off, any final thoughts in the next 30 seconds?
I'll see you next week, hopefully. This Week in Community. Over and out.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye.